Welcome to the February 2023 update on the performance of my solar array. So, I've been told off by one of my viewers for mixing up kilowatts and kilowatt hours when I voice over these videos. So I'm going to do my best and attempt to get through this video without messing it up. So let's see how I get on. First of all, the disclaimer, I'm not an expert, so some things I say might not be completely accurate. Make sure you get qualified advice before you do anything on the back of these videos. Okay, let's get straight into the new metrics then. So the performance of my solar array over its lifetime has produced 6,624 kilowatt hours. And then if I focus on the right hand side of this page, because the numbers on the left have not changed versus last month. So on the right hand side, year to date, we have now produced 440 kilowatt hours. The same time last year, we had only produced 392 kilowatt hours. Therefore, we have produced 48 kilowatt hours more than we did last year, which equates to 12.2%. Keep in mind, we have 4 extra panels, so this is pretty much like for like. If I talk about the electricity that we've imported, so year to date, we've imported 1,721 kilowatt hours. This time last year, we had only imported 791 kilowatt hours, which means we have imported an extra 930 kilowatt hours, or an increase of 117%. So this is scary big, because this time last year we were barely using our electric car, and now we are using it a lot and charging overnight on the octopus tariff. So this doesn't surprise me. If I talk about gas, year to date we have imported 8,778 kilowatt hours of gas. This time last year we had imported 9,744 kilowatt hours, which means we have reduced our gas intake by 957 kilowatt hours, or a reduction of 9.8%. So that is good news. It means either it's a bit warmer compared to last year, or the insulation that we've put in is working, or our smart thermostats that we got installed last summer are starting to have some sort of effect. Okay, CapEx has stayed the same, and then from an OpEx point of view, year to date we have now saved £703.05. Compared to this time last year, we'd only saved £104.31, which means we have increased our savings year on year by £598.73, or 574%. Okay, those are the highlights. So let's get into the detail behind some of these numbers then. So first of all, the February performance from Enphase. Now, last month I said that I was having an issue with Enphase. It's not reporting the production and the consumption from those new solar panels correctly. So when I contacted Enphase and they started doing whatever on their end, they did something to my data and it now looks like this. So not very helpful. But if I read out the numbers, we produced 241.4 kilowatts. We did not export 201. The export number will come from the meter readings from Octopus, which I'll show you in a minute. And the rest of the numbers are absolute nonsense, so ignore that. On the right hand side, you can see the production from each of the panels. So the ones on the front of the house facing southeast, and the ones on the summer house facing southwest are doing the majority of the work. The ones facing slightly northwest are contributing, but not that much. Best and worst days. So the best day was February the 13th. We produced 14.1 kilowatt hours, but we imported 49.2 because we are charging the car, charging the battery, and heating our hot water via the cheap tariff overnight. And you're going to see that on every single day, all the way through the winter months. The worst day was the day before, the 12th of February. We only produced 2.2 kilowatts, but we were also charging the car, heating the water, and charging up our battery overnight. And you can see that we ran out of power in the battery at around 8 p.m, and then we're pulling power from the grid. Household electricity consumption. So if I focus on the bar on the right hand side, we have pulled 366 kilowatts from the grid to service our house. We have used 170 kilowatts of the solar power to service our house. We have pulled 243 off-peak kilowatts to charge the car. We have pulled 156 off-peak kilowatts to heat our hot water. And then we have used a tiny sliver of solar power to charge up the car, so small that we don't have the number. And we've also used a small amount of solar power to heat our hot water. I haven't got the number on the page, but there we are. Okay. We also have a tiny amount of export. Like I said, it looks like it's about 10, 12 kilowatts off the top of my head, something like that. Looking through the numbers on the very top, so far the house has used 308 kilowatts of kilowatt hours of solar power to service our house. The car has used 10 kilowatt hours of solar power to charge a car, and we have used 524 kilowatt hours of power from the grid at the off-peak rate to charge our car. That's in 23. And then for the eddy, we have pumped 96 kilowatt hours of solar power year to date into the eddy to heat our hot water, and we have pulled 356 kilowatt hours from the grid to heat our hot water so far. Moving on to talk about gas. So our gas consumption has come down in the month of February. If I compare it to the February of the year before, we have reduced consumption by about 800 kilowatt hours. So that's really, really good. Compared to the February of the year before, we have reduced consumption by about 1700 kilowatt hours. So that's also really, really good. So our gas supply is in two parts. The main portion of our house has used 2083 kilowatt hours, and the other portion has used 1750 kilowatt hours. The little green segments on the top represent the amount of kilowatt hours we pumped through to the eddy. So this is what gas consumption would have been had we not got the eddy installed. Okay, looking at the bill. So for the entire month of February, we have paid £71 to Octopus for our electricity. We have paid £222 for the main portion of gas and £187 or £188 for the other portion of gas. So we do still spend a lot of money on gas, but I don't think there's anything I can sensibly do about this to try and improve it. But we'll see. For the few kilowatts that we exported back to the grid, Octopus paid us 57 pence, and we still continue to receive the grant from the government. Just coming back to electricity, off the top of my head, about £55 of that was the cost of buying all of the off-peak electricity, and the remainder was buying peak time electricity. A few of you have been using my referral code. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I see that coming through on my account. Those of you who are interested in switching to Octopus, particularly if you're reaching the end of your contract and you want to secure a fixed rate going forward, if you use the link that you see there on the screen, or you give them a call and quote the reference number, you and I will both receive £50 off our next bill as a thank you from Octopus. If we talk about the installer estimates, so we have produced 67% of what the installer thinks we will produce by the end of year 2. So we are well on our way to surpassing that target. If I talk about what the installer thought we would consume, we have already surpassed our year 2 target by a further 26%. Okay, so we've already beaten it. Looking at the chart on the left-hand side, what we wanted is the green shaded area to hit this line here by the end of year 2. So we're only not even halfway through year 2, and we've already surpassed it by 26%. So we're well on our way. To meet the production estimate, we need the blue area over here to catch up with this blue line over here. So we're not there yet, but we will definitely get there probably in about 3 months' time. Over on the right hand side, if you have a look, we are increasing the amount of solar production, and we have managed to consume 94% of everything we produced. So this is really good, but keep in mind that we're not as optimal as we could be because we've got this kind of issue with Enphase and the grid voltage thing going on. So sometimes all the equipment's not working properly. But when you have small numbers and a few kilowatts going to the grid, percentage-wise, that turns out to be a big percentage. So I expect the increase in production is going to help us massively over the next few months. Okay, and finally, if we talk about, it's still called the payback curve, although there's no curve. Let's look through the numbers more specifically and see where the money has been spent and saved. So over on the right-hand side, looking at the February column, we produced 241.4 4 kilowatt hours of solar power. We exported 14 kilowatt hours. Therefore, the house we consumed 227.4 kilowatt hours of the solar production, and of that number, 167.73 went into the house, 57.67 went into the eddy, and nothing went into the car. Just to give you the figures from the grid, Octopus says we imported 765.23 kilowatts from them, kilowatt hours from them of electricity, and 3,833 kilowatt hours of gas. Capex has remained the same. We have not bought any more equipment, so we have spent £23,490.94 in total on all of this stuff. Our gas rate is currently still the same. If I move on to talk about the savings then, so our house this month has saved £52.33 by diverting solar power to service everything we want. By charging our battery overnight, we have saved a further £77.69 by being able to buy cheap electricity and discharge it during the day. The eddy has saved us £5.95 by being able to divert solar power to heat the hot water, and by using the cheaper rate overnight to heat the hot water rather than paying for gas. And then from heating the hot water overnight, we've saved £4.38. So I've separated out the numbers there. Export, we've made 57p. And then if I talk about the car, we haven't saved anything from using solar power in the car yet. For this month, we did not purchase any peak time electricity to charge the car. Off peak, we have paid £18.23 to purchase electricity to charge the car, and using public charging points, we have paid £9.83 to keep the car going where we're out of range or something. So overall, we have saved £243.22 this month by using the electric car, basically. So that takes into account the money that we're saving from diesel as well. So diesel, we saved £271.28 worth of diesel. So overall, when you add up all these numbers, we have saved £384.14 this month, which means our total lifetime savings of £3,516.20. And then if you subtract that from our capex, we have £19,975 to go to hit break even. We have already paid back 17.6% of our system, and it is currently forecasting on a linear basis that we will reach break even at 8 years, 8 months and 15 days. And we were 23% independent for the month of February. Over the lifetime, we have been 44% independent. But keep in mind, we started in the winter, and we've got 2 winters worth of numbers in this, so it's pulling this average down. I think it averages about 66-67% when you include a full year. All right, so that is a quick summary of all of the numbers for February. I hope you found it useful. Don't forget to like, subscribe, etc., etc., and I'll catch you in the next video.